In a world that constantly pushes conformity, embracing uniqueness can feel both courageous and terrifying. Yet, it is one of the most powerful decisions a person can make, not just for their own growth, but for the inspiration and change it can spark in others. Uniqueness is not just about being different for the sake of being different. It's about honoring your authentic self, discovering your true values, and standing firm in who you are despite the pressure to blend in. It's about recognizing that your voice, your story, and your perspective matter deeply. From a young age, many people are taught to fit into a mold, whether it's the way they dress, the career path they pursue, or how they express their emotions. Society often sets standards and expectations that tell us who we're supposed to be rather than encouraging us to explore who we truly are. As a result, countless individuals end up suppressing their real selves just to avoid rejection or criticism. But there is profound strength in resisting this pressure. Choosing to embrace your uniqueness is an act of inner power. It's saying, "This is who I am, and I am enough." When you accept and celebrate your unique qualities, whether it's your creativity, your sensitivity, your bold ideas, or even your quirks, you begin to live with authenticity. You stop seeking validation from external sources and start grounding your worth in your own values and passions. This shift transforms how you live. Your choices become more aligned with your heart. Your goals begin to reflect your real dreams rather than what others expect of you. And most importantly, you find a deeper level of peace because you're no longer pretending to be someone you're not. Being unique also brings something valuable to the world. Just as every fingerprint is different, each person has a unique role to play. The world doesn't need more copies of the same idea. It needs the fresh, original contributions that only you can offer. Whether it's through your art, your words, your work ethic, or your empathy, you have the ability to impact people in a way that no one else can. And that impact often starts by simply being brave enough to show up as yourself. Embracing uniqueness doesn't come without challenges. It requires resilience to face the judgment of others, patience to navigate loneliness when you feel misunderstood, and self-belief to keep going when the path is unclear. But these challenges are not signs to give up. They are tests that strengthen your character. In fact, many of the world's most influential figures were once ridiculed for being different. Their courage to remain true to themselves is what ultimately made them stand out and succeed. In the end, embracing your uniqueness is not just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to others. When people see someone living authentically, it gives them permission to do the same. You become a mirror of possibility, showing others that it's okay to be different, to speak their truth, and to follow their own path. You inspire confidence, courage, and creativity in those around you, sometimes without even realizing it. So choose to embrace who you are, not who you're told to be. Live your truth, honor your individuality. You were not born to be like everyone else. You were born to be exactly you, and that is your superpower. Daring to stand alone is one of the most difficult yet most powerful decisions a person can make in life. It means being willing to follow your convictions, your truth, and your sense of purpose, even when it feels like the entire world is walking in the opposite direction. In a society that often praises popularity and collective approval, choosing to stand alone can feel isolating. But in that solitude, there is immense strength, there is clarity, there is growth. Standing alone does not mean being lonely. It means being rooted in your principles when others may compromise theirs. There are moments in life when you will be faced with a choice. Follow the crowd or follow your heart. The crowd offers comfort and safety. It gives the illusion of certainty, but often the crowd is driven by fear, by trend, or by the desire to avoid discomfort. When you dare to step away from that, to say no when everyone else says yes, or to rise when everyone else sits in silence, you claim your identity. You stop living for the acceptance of others and start living for something deeper and more meaningful, your values, your truth. Standing alone is a trait found in every great leader, every visionary, every person who has changed the world. Think of the inventors, the freedom fighters, the artists, and the revolutionaries. Most of them were criticized, mocked, or rejected in the beginning. Their ideas were too bold, their dreams too big, and their voices too different. But they stood firm. They didn't wait for permission or validation. They moved forward, even in silence, even in pain, because they believed in something greater than approval. They believed in their mission. This kind of strength doesn't come overnight. It grows through experiences. It builds when you face rejection and still choose to speak up. It strengthens every time you walk away from what feels easy but wrong. And though the path may be lonely at times, it is also the path to integrity. When you stand alone for what's right, you create a life of self-respect. You don't have to live with regret or guilt, because you know you didn't betray yourself to fit in. Standing alone often inspires others. It may not happen immediately, but when people see someone brave enough to act differently, they begin to question their own silence. Your courage can become the spark that helps others rise. You may not even realize how many hearts are watching you, quietly drawing strength from your boldness. You might be the reason someone else finds the bravery to walk away from what's wrong, to speak their mind, or to follow their passion. But daring to stand alone doesn't mean you are against others. It means you are for yourself, for truth, and for what you know is right. It means refusing to betray your integrity just for the sake of comfort. It means understanding that being misunderstood is a part of being strong. Not everyone will see your vision, and not everyone needs to. What matters is that you see it, and that you walk toward it with purpose. In the end, the journey of standing alone leads to something beautiful. It leads to a life that is truly yours, not shaped by the fear of judgment or the need for approval. It leads to inner peace, to authenticity, and often to greatness. Because those who dare to stand alone are the ones who eventually stand out. And in doing so, they prove that sometimes the most powerful place to be is alone, standing tall and unshaken. Going the extra mile is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's the mindset of doing more than what's expected, of pushing beyond limits, and of refusing to settle for mediocrity. Most people do only what's required. They stop when they're tired or when the task seems complete enough. But those who go the extra mile understand that true success, true excellence, is often found just beyond the point where others give up. It's not about perfection, but about dedication, persistence, and the desire to deliver more than is asked, because you take pride in your effort and value your growth. In every area of life, whether it's academics, career, relationships, or personal goals, there are countless opportunities to go just a little further. That little further is where progress lies. It's waking up earlier to prepare, staying up a bit later to improve your craft, checking in on a friend even when you're busy, or redoing something not because someone told you to, but because you know it could be better. These moments, though small, build habits that shape character, and character is what people remember long after the task is done. Going the extra mile also creates a reputation. People begin to recognize you as someone who is reliable, passionate, and committed. Opportunities start coming your way, not because you're the loudest or the most visible, but because your work speaks for itself. You become someone others trust, not just for your talent, but for your effort, your consistency, and your heart. In a world where shortcuts are common, being the person who gives a little more leaves a powerful impression. But it's not just about impressing others. The real value of going the extra mile is how it transforms you. It teaches discipline, it sharpens focus, it builds resilience. Every time you challenge yourself to give more when no one is watching, you strengthen your mindset, you move closer to your potential. You begin to understand that success isn't a matter of talent alone. It's about who is willing to go beyond comfort, to work through frustration, and to keep striving even when results are slow. This mindset can be tiring at times. It requires balance. Going the extra mile doesn't mean burning yourself out or trying to be perfect. It means caring enough to do your best, even when it's hard. It means being honest with yourself about what you can improve and taking steps to grow, even if they're small. It's not about comparison. It's about personal excellence, choosing every day to honor your purpose and your potential. Sometimes the reward for your extra effort isn't immediate. People may not notice right away. Results may not show instantly, but over time the impact adds up. The job offers come, the skills sharpen, the confidence grows, and the satisfaction deepens. And even if no one ever claps for you, you'll know within yourself that you gave your all. That feeling, that quiet, strong sense of self-worth, is something no one can take from you. The world is full of people who do just enough. Be the one who does more, not for praise, not for attention, but because that's who you are. Because you believe in growth, in value, and in creating a life that reflects your full effort. Going the extra mile may not be the easiest path, but it is always the most rewarding. And in the end, it's that extra distance, the part most people aren't willing to travel, that makes all the difference. Cultivating discipline and consistency is one of the most powerful habits anyone can develop. These two qualities are the foundation of success, not talent, not luck, but the ability to show up every single day, regardless of how you feel. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. Consistency means doing it again and again until it becomes part of who you are. Together, they form the backbone of a strong, resilient, and purpose-driven life. Discipline begins with a decision. It's the quiet commitment you make to yourself to stay focused on your goals, no matter how tempting distractions may be. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in, choosing healthy habits when your emotions pull you toward instant gratification, and staying focused on your tasks even when no one is watching. Discipline doesn't mean being perfect. It means being intentional. It's the choice to act in alignment with your long-term goals rather than your short-term feelings. Consistency, on the other hand, is the engine that turns discipline into progress. It's not about how hard you work for one day. It's about how consistently you show up over time. It's easy to start something with excitement, but sustaining that effort, day after day, through boredom, failure, or fatigue, is what separates achievers from dreamers. Many people begin with great motivation, but fall off when the results are slow. The ones who succeed are those who keep going, trusting the process, even when the progress feels invisible. Building discipline and consistency starts with small, simple steps. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Instead, begin with one habit, one goal, one promise to yourself. Maybe it's reading for 10 minutes every day, or committing to 30 minutes of exercise, or journaling every night. These small actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they compound over time. What matters most is not how big your effort is, but how regular it becomes. With repetition, these actions shift from being struggles to becoming part of your routine, and eventually your identity. The truth is, discipline is hard. It means saying no to what is easy and yes to what is necessary. There will be days when your motivation fades, when the excitement disappears, and when results don't come as quickly as you hoped. That's when consistency becomes your greatest strength. You do it anyway. You keep showing up. You trust that every small action is a brick in the foundation you're building. even if you can't see the full structure yet? People often underestimate the power of consistency because it feels slow, but growth is not always loud. It's not always visible right away. It happens quietly, underneath the surface, in the discipline of repetition. Over time, your efforts build confidence, your routines build character, and eventually, your discipline and consistency create a momentum that makes progress feel natural. Those who succeed in any field, whether it's academics, business, health, or relationships, are not always the most talented. They're the ones who stay committed, the ones who put in the work even when it's not exciting, the ones who choose structure over chaos, purpose over pleasure, and progress over procrastination. In the end, cultivating discipline and consistency is an act of self-respect. It's showing yourself that your goals matter. It's proving to yourself day after day that you are capable of following through. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because when you master these two habits, you gain control over your life, and that control leads to freedom, the freedom to achieve what once felt impossible. Thinking differently is at the heart of innovation, progress, and personal growth. It's about challenging the status quo, questioning assumptions, and daring to see the world through your own lens rather than simply accepting what's been handed to you. In a world that often rewards compliance and comfort, thinking differently is a courageous act. It requires you to step outside the boundaries of tradition and routine, to imagine new possibilities, and to trust your ideas, even when they don't make sense to everyone else. From the moment we enter school, we are often taught to follow rules, repeat information, and fit into systems that were designed long before us. Creativity is sometimes discouraged, and questions are too often met with disapproval instead of curiosity. Over time, this can condition people to think in boxes, to solve problems in the same way others have solved them, to follow a predictable path, and to silence their inner voice. But history shows us that those who changed the world, scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, were not the ones who followed the rules blindly. They were the ones who dared to ask, what if there's another way? Thinking differently starts with curiosity. It begins when you choose to look at a problem not just from the surface, but from every angle, including the ones people ignore. It means you're not afraid to ask why, and why not. It means you don't stop at the obvious solution. You dig deeper. Sometimes, it's not even about having the answers. It's about having the courage to explore the unknown. When you think differently, you don't limit yourself to what's already been done. You open yourself to what could be. This mindset isn't reserved for a select few. Everyone has the ability to think creatively and critically. It's not about being a genius. It's about being brave enough to trust your thoughts. It's about allowing your mind to wander, to question, and to connect ideas that others might overlook. Whether you're trying to start a business, solve a personal challenge, or improve a daily routine, thinking differently can reveal solutions that others never even considered. One of the most powerful things about thinking differently is that it encourages independence. You begin to rely less on what others believe is right and more on your own understanding. You stop following trends just because they're popular and start making decisions that align with your values. This can be uncomfortable. Thinking differently often leads to standing alone, facing criticism, or being misunderstood. But that's the price of originality, and the reward is authenticity. Sometimes thinking differently means failing. Not every idea will work. Not every risk will pay off. But failure is not the end, it's part of the process. Each mistake is a lesson. Each setback, a chance to refine your vision. Those who think differently learn to see failure not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace. It becomes fuel for creativity, not fear. Thinking differently is a gift to the world. Your unique perspective has the power to inspire others, to spark new conversations, and to lead change in ways big or small. You don't need permission to think differently. You just need to be willing to listen to your inner voice, to trust your intuition, and to keep your mind open. In a world full of noise, repetition, and imitation, the ability to think differently is rare, and that makes it valuable. It's what turns ideas into movements, thoughts into revolutions, and dreams into realities. So never be afraid to think outside the norm. That's where the magic begins. Leading by example is one of the most powerful and authentic ways to inspire change, earn respect, and influence others. It means embodying the values, behaviors, and standards you expect from those around you. Rather than simply telling others what to do, you show them through your actions. Leadership is not about authority or position. It is about integrity, consistency, and the courage to walk the path you speak of. People are more likely to follow someone who lives their words than someone who merely speaks them. When you lead by example, you create trust in any group, whether it's a team, a family, or a community. People look to their leaders for guidance, but more importantly, they look for authenticity. If you ask others to be disciplined yourself. If you want people to be kind, treat others with kindness first. When your actions align with your expectations, it sends a clear message. I believe in what I say enough to live by it. That consistency builds credibility, and credibility builds respect. Leading by example also creates a culture of accountability. It sets a standard. Others begin to reflect the behavior they observe in you. If you're punctual, hardworking, and respectful, people around you begin to mirror those traits. On the other hand, if you cut corners, break promises, or lack discipline, others may follow that lead as well. The environment we create often starts with how we behave, not what we demand. People are watching, and often, they learn more from our habits than from our instructions. This type of leadership doesn't require grand gestures. It lives in the small choices we make every day. It's about staying calm under pressure, admitting when you're wrong, and doing the right thing even when it's difficult. These quiet moments of integrity speak louder than any speech or directive. They show that you're not above the people you lead. You're with them, in the struggle, setting the tone by your example. Leading by example also means taking responsibility. It's easy to blame others when things go wrong, but true leaders own their decisions, their failures, and their actions. They don't just take credit when things go well. They stand firm when times are tough. This accountability not only builds respect, but also encourages others to take responsibility for themselves. It fosters a team where honesty and ownership are valued more than excuses and blame. One of the most powerful aspects of leading by example is its ability to inspire. When people see someone putting in the extra effort, staying humble, and staying true to their word, it lights a spark. It shows others what's possible. You become proof that consistency, compassion, and commitment aren't just ideas. They're achievable realities. Inspiration is not about lifting yourself above others, but lifting others through your example. This form of leadership is especially important in moments of challenge. When people are unsure, afraid, or under pressure, they look to the example being set. Your calm can become their calm. Your courage becomes their strength. Your resilience becomes their motivation. In such moments, your actions can speak hope into others simply because you chose to stay true to your values. In the end, leadership is not just about influence, it's about service. It's about being the first to act, the first to try, the first to take a step toward the goal. It's about showing up not just for others, but for what you believe in. When you lead by example, you don't have to raise your voice to be heard. Your life becomes your message, and that message can change lives.